Hey, what's up everybody? This is Nightwing2303 from Nightwing2303.com. Today we have another performance review, and today it is on the Ektio post-up. So Ektio is a brand that has been promoted by John Starks, former New York Knicks player, and these basically are a tool. It's not just a sneaker, it is a tool like a brace to hopefully prevent ankle injuries. And it's definitely an interesting shoe, interesting concept, and I have to say that this is just, it's not a gimmick. It looks like it might be, but it definitely works. So, you know, without wasting too much of your time, let's just get right into it. Alright guys, so as usual, start off with the bottom of the shoe here. As you can see, there is full-length herringbone from heel to forefoot, and this was awesome. This is the best way to use herringbone. Not only is it full length, but the spacing in between each groove is proper, and then it is not recessed into the rubber itself. And on top of that, everything is peaked very well. Hopefully you're going to be able to see this. I'm really not sure, but basically they all come up at a point. So there's tons of friction between your foot and the floor's surface, no matter what you're doing. The shoe's fairly flexible, so there's always going to be a good point of contact between your foot and the floor as well. So it didn't matter what I was doing, how fast I was moving, where I was going or trying to go to. The traction kept me stable the entire ride through, and this is probably, you know, everybody's favorite sneaker to compare, including myself, would be the Kobe 4. After giving it a lot of thought, this shoe, as far as its traction is concerned, beats out the Kobe 4, and that takes a lot for me to say that, because I hold that shoe up pretty much at the top of my list as far as traction goes, and this shoe was better than that in the traction department. So as far as cushion is concerned, it's very simple and straightforward. This is a foam midsole. It's fairly lightweight, and I actually don't know what kind of foam this is. It could be EVA, it could be Phylon, I'm not sure. However, it's very comfortable and pretty darn responsive. For how bulky the shoe looks when you put it on your feet, it's definitely one of those wow moments where it just doesn't feel the way that it looks it would feel. To help or aid with the cushion, the entire midsole is ribbed with these lines. So basically upon each heel strike you get a lot of compression. It's probably the most surprising thing on a shoe that is definitely not well known, to have something where you put your foot in it and it's comfortable right off the bat. You expect those types of things from the bigger brands, but you don't expect those things from smaller brands, and that was definitely a surprise here. So very comfortable cushion, pretty responsive. If it's not enough cushion for you, you can always do a insole swap. It's very easy. It'll cost you an extra $10 to $20 depending on what you purchase, and you're pretty much good to go after that. So as far as material and fit, basically it's just a synthetic upper the entire way through. You have a synthetic material, and then you have the synthetic patent leather. Same thing on the heel, and then the entire side panels are mesh on both sides, and along with the Velcro straps and the mesh tongue. That's pretty much all of the stuff that you have with the shoe itself. The fit itself, I thought it was very nice. They fit true to size. They're a little bit big in the forefoot as far as width goes after you fully lace them up. Luckily the support, which we'll get into later, the support of the shoe totally counteracted any of that. I didn't have any slipping inside the shoe itself, which you typically do have when you have a slightly wider toe box. So this shoe here definitely didn't cause any problems with material or the fit. The materials could be a little bit more durable, but other than that, they're perfectly fine for what they are. As far as ventilation is concerned, ventilation was definitely another key component to the entire thing. It kept your foot cool, a lot of airflow in here. There's some minor perforations on the toe box. They don't really do too much just because they're so small. However, the entire side panel on both the medial and the lateral side is just a complete layer of mesh, which is very, very breathable and pretty lightweight on top of that. In addition to that, you have a dual layered tongue, which I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but this is a single layer mesh here, and this is extremely breathable. Underneath it is a small sleeve. This sleeve, it doesn't restrict any airflow whatsoever. It's not as thick as a neoprene. It's basically just enough padding to where all of these straps that they have inside, along with the lacing system, don't hurt your foot, which many of us have already experienced with a lot of these lightweight shoes and things like that. So you could tie these up comfortably, you can strap these up comfortably, and it's not going to be an issue, but there's going to be definitely enough airflow in there to keep your foot cool throughout the night or game, whatever it is that you're playing, whether it's pickup or competitive. The entire purpose of this sneaker is to prevent, hopefully, an ankle injury or a rollover and things like that. It's not going to prevent all types of ankle injuries, but the ones that it doesn't cover are basically the rare ones. So basically, these are supposed to stop you from rolling over this way. I think it's called an inversion, I can't remember. But basically, there's three components, two of which are the same type of thing, and then one of them is the most exaggerated, which is these giant outriggers here. You have one in the forefoot and one in the heel. The rubber pods are raised about 1 millimeter off of the floor, so they're not going to be hindering you. It doesn't feel slappy when you run. Basically, if you try to roll your foot, which I did, it isn't happening. I couldn't roll my ankle in these whatsoever. When you have an outrigger on other brands, the rubber's usually thin to reduce weight and things like that, and to stay kind of out of the way when you're in motion. So they definitely work. They just don't work as good as this one. So under intense pressure, this one doesn't fold like a regular outrigger would. And even then, some outriggers are very small, even though they're there. So they're going to help moderately, but not as much of an impact as something like this would. So the outriggers on these, it's nearly impossible to roll over in this. I mean, I couldn't do it, and I tried profusely the first couple nights just to bounce over, and it just wasn't happening. So the interior of the shoe, this is what houses the two dual straps. Both of these straps act as support, lockdown, as well as an ankle brace, which is kind of crazy. You don't really need a brace with these. If you have weak ankles and you're constantly having to tie up a brace, you don't really need that with this. You don't need it at all, actually. So if you're one of those people that have weak ankles, this is definitely something that you're going to want to look into. But basically, this strap here is the outer strap on the shoe itself, the one with the brand name on it. This is what's going to sit right above your foot. So if you put your foot inside, it's going to be sitting right across your ankle. So when you lace that up, you're going to want to pull it through just enough to where it's not bunching and it lays over your ankle perfectly. Once that's done, you seriously cannot move out of this area, which is what helped with the spacious toe box. That's pretty much the only reason why I didn't slip around whatsoever, is because my foot was locked in so well that there was no way for it to move around in the first place. One thing to keep in mind when you are strapping these up, if you go ahead and purchase these, you're going to want to kind of mess around with them for a little while. I've made some posts on my site, nightwing2303.com, in the performance teasers about the straps themselves, but basically these take a little time to get used to. If you tie it up too tight, it's going to pinch the ankle, and it's going to kind of make your legs feel a little bit heavy. So what I recommend is, once you put this shoe on, stand up and then strap them over till your desired comfort. You don't need to go, and make it really, really tight. It's not that necessary, especially since there's a top strap as well. Just make it enough to where it's laying over your ankle, good enough to where it's not going to move out of place. The tighter that you do it, the less feeling you're going to get, beyond there, and then it's going to be kind of uncomfortable. So the strap system is something that you're just going to have to test with, mess around with it a little bit, and you'll get used to it. And then basically, after that, you have this outer strap. And this is the secondary strap, kind of like what you would see on any other typical shoe. You put that in there. Same thing goes. You strap it up. Once you do that, you're literally locked into the shoe. You're not going anywhere. The shoe's not going anywhere. You could probably get hit by a car and the shoes won't fall off. So once you do that, you're going to lace this up, put it through the bottom piece of the buckle. Then you're going to go through the top and strap it all the way over. Once you're done with that, you're going to use the top strap here and then go through the top of the buckle again and then lace it all the way over. Once you're done with that, this is real loose and everything, but once you're done with that, it'll basically look like this. So in the description box, I'm going to have a link to the brand's video that they have, which is an instruction guide to put the shoe on properly. Definitely you need it. When I first got these shoes, they came with an instruction card, and even then it was kind of difficult to put it on. You know, again, a lot of this information's on my site, nightwing2303.com, but basically once you get used to it, it's perfectly fine. It's a breeze, and lockdown in this shoe is bar none the best that I've ever had. And again, your foot's not going anywhere. Once this thing is tied up and strapped up, you're just basically stuck there. So there's no possible way for you to roll or move within the shoe, and that's going to definitely help you prevent an ankle injury. Alright guys, so that pretty much takes care of the review for the Ektio post-up. The model that is seen here is the one of two. There's the post-up, and then I can't remember the name of the other one, but it's basically the same exact thing, does the same thing, it just looks a little bit different. And then there's also different versions. This has the full-length herringbone traction, and then there are specific outdoor versions which have a different traction pattern altogether. So if you're interested in purchasing these, make sure that you choose the correct one. Personally, I'd choose this one whether I was playing indoor or outdoor, because the traction was so good that, I mean, why mess with it, you know what I mean? So if you want to purchase one of these, the price point depends on the shoe itself. They run between $119 up to $149, I believe, and you can get these only at Ektio.com or eBay.com. And again, this is not a gimmick. This actually worked. I played with partially torn ligaments in my ankle that I had received earlier this year. I was wearing the McDavid brace as well as the speed wrap after the fact, after my ankle started getting less weak. So for those of you with weak ankles, this is definitely a good buy. You don't need anything else other than the shoe. For those of you that don't have weak ankles and you don't want to have them in the future by protecting yourself, again, this is a good buy. Like I was saying, I was injured while I wore these. The first time I wore them with a brace. It was just way too much of everything, and so I ended up taking the brace off, used this by itself, and it was basically all the support I needed, which was very surprising because my ankle was extremely weak at that time. So it's 100% now, so there's no need for a brace or anything like that, but these definitely work. And they're comfortable to boot. So the only thing that I could really say negative about them is their looks. If they get a better design implemented into this, you know, this could definitely be a top competitor with some of the other sneakers that are out there, just because there is no shoe that can prevent an ankle injury like this one can. So that's pretty much everything. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you're interested, you can go to Ektio.com or eBay.com. Those are the only two retailers that I know of that have these sneakers in stock. And make sure to stay tuned. You can always check out my site, nightwing2303.com, for all your performance needs. And there's going to be more stuff coming. So thank you very much. Thanks for all the likes, subscription, and comments. And until next time, guys, have a good one.